the first time since 1969, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs return to one of their historic homes, Daytona. Welcome to the 52nd SCCA Runoffs presented by Garmin Verb at Daytona International Speedway, brought to you by Mazda. The run for the medals begins now. Daytona International Speedway. What a venue and what a host for the 2015 running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs presented by Garmin Verb. Hi everybody, welcome to our coverage today brought to you by Mazda. I'm Greg Creamer alongside Jeff Leppard down in the pits, Hayward Wagner, and the fastest of all the classes here. Well, normally at a lot of tracks it might be. I think GT1 here might give it a run just because of the outright power speeds, but Formula Atlantic is about to unleash itself on the track, Jeff. Formula category, obviously, lots of downforce. The cars, not a huge amount of power in the cars, but the secret with an Atlantic car is you rarely have to actually get out of the throttle.
Yeah, with the downforce these cars create and the big wings they have and a big wide tire, you don't really have to lift that much and hit the brakes that much. And of course, these are all sequential transmission shiftings usually, so it's the top echelon of technology when it comes to engineering on these cars, both in aero and mechanical, and some really great past champions from the history of open wheel racing have started off here in Formula Atlantic.
That's a very good point. It has launched many a career, hasn't it, with some success here. And let's hear more about this class and what to expect from Hayward Wagner.
Guys, the clouds have cleared. It's warming up even more here in Daytona, getting ready for Formula Atlantic. This has been a playground for the Toyota engine for the last couple of years. A very successful run of Toyota engines. This year we have some Mazdas in the field, and we have a Honda in the field. That's a car that's being developed by Honda Motorsports Development, so that Brian Novak and others involved in that project, bringing yet another manufacturer to the fold here in Formula Atlantic.
Yeah, very good point. It's starting to build some interest in the engine department, as he had said so long, just sort of controlled by whatever was in the Pro Atlantic class was kind of the car that was the powerhouse. Now that's changing a little bit. We don't have our defending champion back. Connor Kirby is not here. Look at Andy McDermott over there, boy, well, folks. That's a leftover from the A Sedan National Championship race that just completed, and Andy McDermott has been making the most of his victory lap here. But without Connor Kirby here, who, by the way, became the first Formula Atlantic national champion powered by Mazda. That's been in the works for a while, and he was able to get it done. Now, Michael Malinen is the only national champion that is in this field. Michael Malinen winning that in 2011 at Road America in the Formula Atlantic category. So you got a couple other medalists that are here. Brian Novak for one, and also a bronze medal winner here, Bruce Hamilton in the number 36. But we are going to see not necessarily a new national champion, but it won't repeat. So some opportunity here.
Yeah, when Malinen won that championship in 2011, that was a very good year for him.
Yes,
he won the June sprints. He was the national points title winner. He also clinched the super sweep. Not sure if he's eligible this year. Got to look on my list here to see if he is eligible in the Atlantic class for that super sweep or not. But it's going to be exciting to see these guys. The draft will play a factor with these cars for Formula Atlantic. So don't think that just because they're open wheels and all the aero these cars create that there's not going to be a draft. And this is one of the ones that I was looking forward to. We talked about it on our pre-recap shows Monday through Thursday. I want to see how these open wheel cars will do here at Daytona International Speedway. We've seen Indy cars test here. The IRL series, back when it was in its heyday, tested IndyCar. The Verizon or the IZOD IndyCar series tested here to see if it would be viable around Daytona, and the speeds they were creating were just ridiculous on how fast these cars were. So to see that in the Atlantic trims, we had Marco Andretti in this class. We've had Graham Rahal was a Runoffs champion. You go all the way back to the history of the Runoffs, the people that came through Formula Atlantic. Hey, why is Dorsey not calling Formula Atlantic? He was a past champion here in Formula Atlantic. Yeah,
he's one heck of a runner for sure, and spent a lot of time in this category back in the day when it was called Formula B, obviously. And by the way, we talked about Malinen, although he didn't get the gold last year, he did get the pole last year, so that's an interesting story. But he didn't as we take a look here at the rundown, did not get the pole here. Qualified a really strong second, obviously, and it'll be interesting. He was picked as one of the two drivers that are in the field to be able to bring this home, the other one being Tyler Hunter, the young man who put this car on the pole.
Yeah, Tyler Hunter did a great job and had a great lap. He said he got a huge tow twice on that lap to get that pole. Says he's not sure if he has enough pace to keep going, but he really did that first thing Monday morning for his lap as well.
Well, he timed it beautifully, didn't he? That was a 147.7, and the next quick lap was Malinen's at a 49.1 in a class where normally these times are much closer than that. So that double tow you were talking about, will they be able to benefit from a draft? Absolutely.
Yeah, they sure can. And to see with that arrow, it's going to be one of those that you'll benefit from the draft on the straightaway. When you get down on the road course, though, you got to be very careful because you want that arrow over the nose on the front wing and the rear wing. If you lose that arrow and you lose that front grip through this tight infield course, you'll lose a couple spaces and a couple seconds to the guy in front of you.
And one thing you can be sure of here, this race is going to unfold in a real big hurry. And obviously we don't have a huge field in terms of entry, but we've got depth in this field, and that should make it fun.
It's going to be a very fun race to watch. Some speeds approaching 180 miles an hour in an open wheel car that usually only have 4 cylinders pushing those motors, about 260 to 300 horsepower in these cars. And it's going to be interesting to see that new manufacturer come in with Honda and HPD developing that car for Brian Novak. And it's a different chassis of a car, not the Novak chassis that we see in the F500s. He's running the old Swift. And I think there is a Ralt in this series as well, the old RT41s, my old Formula Atlantic car. So good to see Ralt RT41 racing here in the runoff still in Formula Atlantic.
Yeah, and again, you talked about, that horsepower number, in and of itself, not particularly impressive, but it's the fact that you never get out of the throttle in these cars and the speed they can carry through the corners. I mean, they should be a huge amount of fun to watch, especially through the bus stop, I would think.
Oh, you see them and you'll see them. Some of them will be banging those curbs still, only an inch off the ground. Some of them will be nice and precise right up against that line. You'll see the car bounce and go through, and to see these cars on the oval nose to tail is going to be an exciting thing to see.
We are going to be having an opportunity here. Again, we're looking at 1 minute to the release of the field onto the grid, and looking forward to that one coming. But before we do that, let's get down to the pits for an update from Hayward.
Hey guys, at the end of the American Sedan race, we had an incident here on pit lane. One of the cars coming off the track and had contact with one of the grid workers. They did load him into the ambulance and take him to the medical center. He was fine, very minor injuries, possibly an ankle, but we just want to let folks at home know that there was no major injury for those of you that might have picked up a little bit of it in the coverage.
Great to hear, absolutely, and always whenever there's any kind of an incident, the immediate reaction is to get them in and get them looked at. So it's a good day. And we could see, obviously, Jeff, as we see the cars now starting to move off of the grid. Oh, somebody getting held down there. And again, that may be just not ready within that 1 minute call window. But the interesting thing here is we saw at the end of that race, obviously, a lot of these drivers were hot. I mean, it is, even though it's in the morning here and the ambient temperature is plenty warm, but it's cooler than it's going to be. It's just thick. The humidity here is intense, and inside those big V8s, obviously, a lot of heat builds in those cars, and things can happen sometimes, and we're sorry to see that development, but happy to hear that the injury appears quite minor, and they're just giving it a quick look-see here as the cars now come out and start their pace lap. Yeah,
getting that pace lap. It looks like Bruce Hamilton was held on pit lane, or sorry, on grid before he was released as well. So not sure what happened there. The guy that was going to start in 4th place looks like he did not get released as well. So hopefully it's not another case of the, got to have something with the car be ready to go with 1 minute to go. So we'll see if we see Dudley roll across the line or not for that 4th place.
Yeah, Hamilton winning that bronze medal last year at Mazda Raceway. Dudley Fleck, who you were just alluding to, a 2-time medalist, never the gold, but a 2-time medalist, most recently 2010 at Road America, but he earned it in that race, Jeff, in C Sports Racing. Then you've got, of course, Michael Malinen actually 4 medals total, a gold, a silver, and 2 bronze. And Brian Novak, 3 gold medals and a silver, and the most recent one coming at 2014 at Mazda Raceway at Laguna in Formula 500. So this field, as I said, it's deep. And you take a look, Brian Novak, he's going to be the interesting one, as you pointed out, Jeff, with that new Honda power plant. It's new in the development. They're chasing things a little bit, can only get that 8th best qualifying lap in. But qualifying is one thing, racing is another, and we'll see what's going to unfold here. And take a look at the wings that some of these cars are sporting. You can't even basically see them on the back of these cars on some of them, because they basically just running the lower element and have them dropped way, way down. And that bright white car that is not weaving there in the middle of the screen, that is the Honda and Brian Novak. Great addition to this class.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see another engine manufacturer come into our Atlantic Series, and there's a good job. Now he's starting to warm those tires up, get the stickers off, is that number 74 car of Brian Novak, and you see that Honda Racing on the side there. That is the K20 version. It's a 4-cylinder. It's the car that you see in the regular Honda Civic. The SI version is the 2.4. This is the 2-liter Honda K20 engine running on Hoosier tires in that Swift chassis Formula Atlantic.
I think the concept of that is, isn't it, that it's a power plant that isn't as highly tweaked and massaged, therefore it's a better reliability record. And once they get the performance up to where it should run, it's got the ability to go a long way between rebuilds, and that might just make running Formula Atlantic, which is a costly class, this is some trick technology, allow at least your motor costs to be mitigated a little bit.
Yeah, I was talking with Jeff Barrow a little bit earlier, and they said the kit's about $25,000 to do the conversion to run that motor, but you're looking at running that engine for 2 years between rebuilds, and the rebuild cost is half as much as some of the other engine platforms in this class. So when you talk about that, just everybody's trying to help grow the series and make it better for the racers in the Formula Atlantic class.
And there is Bruce Hamilton, who you were talking about, Jeff, who had that qualifying run up into 4th, but he's going to be starting at the back of this field right now, but should be fun to watch him work his way up through the pack. We'll certainly watch what's going on with Brian Novak as well. And Tyler Hunter, what a run he put into pole, as you said. Absolutely timing drafts to perfection and making that leap. So this one should be a lot of fun, I would think.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I think this is going to be some of the best, closest racing, I hope, at least in the mid-pack here in Formula Atlantic. Like I said, I talked with Tyler a little bit earlier, and he mentioned that lap, he got 2 drafts on the qualifying lap and could not have been better. And you saw the time that he put over second place in the qualifying grid. So I don't think we'll see much of that in the race. Should be a closer gap amongst our leaders.
Yeah, and a couple of achievements already this year, notably for Dudley Fleck, who runs out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, in Iowa region. He got a prestigious win this year, winning the June sprints, and that's a springboard. That's one of the most prestigious, next to the runoffs, arguably the second most prestigious race in SCCA national competition. So that's a good day, and he wants to obviously be able to put that one together. We don't have a super sweep eligible driver in this race here, but nonetheless, as I said, we are not going to have a defending champion come through here. So we'll see what happens. And getting some reports on Dudley's car that we're getting little puffs of smoke. So hopefully it's just a little bit of lockup while he's trying to scrub tires. Pace car is in. We are green. 14 high-speed laps of Daytona International Speedway underway as we go for the gold in Formula Atlantic. And right from the off, Tyler Hunter. But look at the move around the outside here. That's David Blick, as he's tried to get it all done in one move here, but floated out, Jeff. He's going to be wicked quick in a straight line with that real low drop wing on the back of the car, but he's going to struggle a bit on the infield here as Malinen able to regain that second spot. Ooh, I think that was Novak coming in real hot. Oh, we've got a couple of cars that have had themselves an incident. That's the number 10 of Dwight Ryder, trying to pick out the number on
36,
that other car.
that was Bruce Hamilton.
Oh,
and unfortunately, that problem you have when you get marred back in the field. So Bruce Hamilton and Dwight Ryder, the Ralt RT41, unfortunately my favorite chassis in the Formula Atlantic, is out of this race.
Yeah, that is a shame, and you're absolutely right. That is a great chassis. I've always liked the look of that one, as well as it's a pretty good performer here. We'll see whether that is going to precipitate. Yeah, there was no way. It had to be a full course caution. Way all those cars were, it's going to take a little bit of time to extract that. So we are full course caution. And unfortunately, that's really what Bruce Hamilton needed to be able to get back into this, but it doesn't help when you're part of it.
Yeah, when you make the caution, it does not help your cause whatsoever. As David Blink, you saw that, as I was just trying to point out there, that 4th place car with that low wing in the rear, going to be quick on the straightaways, but he's the only one running that Swift chassis with that lower wing. But he was really struggling for grip there on the infield. And talking with a lot of guys here this weekend, you want to set your car up for the infield, because when you're on the oval, you're just on the gas as fast as you can go. You don't really matter. You can drive that car with one finger. And talking with a few guys, somebody said you didn't have to take your hand off the wheel when we were going in some of our Formula cars from yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is going to take a little while to clean up. So we're going to take this opportunity to get our break in here at the 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb. Formula Atlantic underway, but early caution. We'll pause. We'll be right back. The 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb, is being brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, driving matters.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license, took 2 tries, bought a Roadster secondhand. Playing parties with the band, loaded up, off to state. Hijinks, tailgates, starter, midsize, family cruising. Now in the garage, something new reminds you of when you were you.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.
We continue under caution here at Daytona International Speedway in this 52nd running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb. Formula Atlantic run to the medals, delayed just a little bit here because of an incident right there that involved the guy who had originally qualified fourth, Bruce Hamilton, got held and went all the way to the back of the pack, and obviously a bit of a coming together with Lieutenant Dwight Ryder, and we got him stacked a little bit here, so it's just going to take a while to get these cars disentangled and removed off of the track at this point, Jeff. And I just want to point out that Tyler Hunter, in talking about it, did get, I believe, his first tire rack pole award here at the Runoffs, and that's an achievement in itself.
Yeah, it really is, and very excited young man there to get that done as he comes down through the bus stop. Now, they did run NASCAR turn 1 and 2 with that incident down there in turn number 1. Just keeps it safe for all of our course workers down there to get this removed. It is pretty easy to move a Formula car. They are kind of light. You hook up to that main roll hoop, hook the hook on the back of that truck and lift the car up, and that's generally how you pull away open wheel cars. So we should be, even though they are tangled, we'll be able to get this cleaned up here pretty quick.
Yeah, it's just they're assessing what the best way to go is, because what you don't want to do is as you lift that one car off is damage either of them even more deeply by having something swing the wrong way and rip some component off of the car. So they're looking at it relatively carefully here as to what the best way to get this done is, and having a fair amount of discussion at this point. And as always, whenever you've got cars having that kind of contact, you've always got that ambulance on scene. Again, that's just standard operating procedure. Whenever there's contact like that, both drivers are invited into the ambulance and just taken in for a cursory check. And so that's what's happening here. But the cleanup is going to take a little bit of time here, obviously, and we're going to get on that here. And as I said, it's really easy to damage the cars further, and these aren't cheap. So you don't want to do anything more to the cars. And again, these drivers, their pocketbooks hurting enough. Yeah,
Dwight Ryder had a camera there on the top of his roll hoops. You see him removing that camera so they can get the strap hooked up around that roll hoop and get that car moved.
Yeah, absolutely. While we're watching this cleanup, let's head down to pit lane in Hayward.
Guys, as you would expect here in pit lane, a couple of different perspectives on an incident that no one here actually saw. One of the stories is that the car that got hit was a backup car. Someone who qualified deeper in the field got moved to the back, advanced positions at the start, and just ended up with too many cars in too little space. The coroner report was that car got a little bit sideways and the car behind him had nowhere to go. The guess on pit lane is he got hit out of nowhere. So it's your standard he said story here on pit road.
Yeah, you get as many drivers are in an incident, you'll have that many differing opinions on how that incident unfolded generally. Although it is pretty impressive here when you talk about SCCA club racing and you have a chat with the drivers and the like that have been involved in an incident, how many times they just say, yeah, that's what happened. That's that's exactly right. It's part of the game here, obviously. And now we got the wrecker in place, and yeah, it was absolutely right. That camera on the back of that car was kind of slowing, being able to get things hooked up. And now they've got the wrecker in place. They just got to extend that boom out because you want to lift it as straight up as you can and not drag it across the back of the car.
Yeah, you don't want to do a lot more damage, like you said before. And when you talk about the stories about what really happened and what Hayward was alluding to, usually you have 3 stories. You have each driver that was involved story, and then you had what really happened.
The right story. That is correct. There's a look at the number 3, Dudley Fleck, once again in that Hoosier Mazda, the Cahill Motorsports Swift 016A with that Mazda power plant. And I really like, obviously, the mix of the manufacturers here. And I've been calling Atlantic in the Pro Atlantic and at the Runoffs for a long time and seeing the evolution. I don't go quite all the way back to the days when everybody was running the flat bottoms, but not much after that when I started calling it. And it's just interesting to see how some of the older cars still have a pretty good ability in the club racing level to be quick. Now that Swift 016A, that was the last Pro Atlantic chassis that was run in that Pro Series.
Yeah, now they have the Mazda Road to Indy that starts off in the USF 2000. Move yourself up into the Star Mazda series and into Indy Lights and then ultimately into IndyCar. So it sort of bypasses the whole Atlantic series. I don't think we'll see too many people here, and there's not really a ladder system in club racing to go up from Formula Atlantic, but it would be nice to see, go from the Formula Atlantic National Championship, maybe get a ride in the USF 2000 or maybe get a ride in that Mazda Pro Series. I think that would be pretty cool to see if they were to step up and try to do that.
Well, I think when you take a look at the performance potential is they now have the number 10 airlifted, if you will, Dwight Ryder, up and off. If you're running an Atlantic car, I think you could step into a Pro Mazda car because in club racing, if you have a Pro Mazda category car, it would run in the Atlantic category. So I don't think that's a big stretch. Certainly, I think if you run an Atlantic car in club racing, you could maybe bypass the F2000 category. You might even be able to step into an Indy Lights car as well if you've done a lot of Atlantic racing and are plenty experienced, because that would be the next step anyway.
It really would. It's just it's more of the financial part. You kind of maybe take that road to Indy just to get that extra money between each levels to move your way up is what I was trying to allude to.
That's a good point.
It's good to see the safety crews getting that car hooked up and getting it back underway, and sad to see one of the few remaining RT41s competing here this weekend on the back of a wrecker. But we see that safety crew here, great job getting those cars removed. We got one more to go. 3 laps so far have expired in our Formula Atlantic race. Still plenty of time to get this underway. All being led by your pole sitter, Tyler Huntler, on the pole. Michael Malinin in second and Dudley Fleck in third.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things here, I wouldn't be surprised at all, though, with Mazda's level and their involvement in that Road to Indy program. If you're a guy running in Atlantic with a Mazda power plant and you put on a show like Connor Kirby did last year, they're going to take a look at you and maybe bring you into that program because clearly you've got some abilities here. So at this stage, now we're getting a report that we have sort of a replay here. I mean, we can catch some of it here, Jeff.
Yeah, try to see if we can get it right here in the back. Look on the left of your screen. You see it looks just like Bruce Hamilton got sideways there on the inside of one. Not sure if there was contact that caused that spin. And then really Dwight Ryder had nowhere to go and climbed over the back of Bruce Hamilton's car.
Yeah, Hamilton just suddenly snapped around for whatever reason. And again, open wheel cars, you touch wheels, things happen and things go airborne. And that's exactly what happened. So one of the cars is on the hook. The other one is about to be put on the back of the tilt bed. And once that's done, we should be able to get back to racing pretty quickly here. I would think maybe one more lap under caution, Jeff.
Yeah, and once they got that scene assessed and what they needed to clear, they started bringing the cars back down through the road course, really just to give these drivers a chance at having as long a lap race as they possibly could. If you ran around the oval the entire time, those lap counts would start ticking away. So they really want to try to run that road course to make it fair for the drivers.
And one of the things that with these Atlantic cars and especially any kind of tunnel technology car, you have to run them so far down on the deck that just loading them up onto the back of a flatbed becomes an interesting little technical exercise because you don't want to be ripping the bottom apart in the car. So you got to be very careful as you hook it up and then bring it up onto the back of these tilt beds. So these RV crews here that are out and working on this stuff, and that's part of what you have to do. You get the front end on it, then you have to lift the back of that tilt bed up, they have those big extenders to flatten that platform out a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. And they're doing a great job there getting that car steered up on the track, and they'll get it off just the same way. But that tells you a true testament. Get 2 trucks out there and get them moved as quickly as possible so we can get back underway. Great job, and you can once again be a part of that. Just go to SCCA.com. Go ahead and volunteer for a specialty such as the towing and the emergency crew. Get your start like I did, timing and scoring. Greg Creamer doing the course working, doing flagging and safety and communications, all part of the SCCA family.
The club, the Sports Car Club of America, key word there. And this, their showcase event, the Runoffs, the National Championship Runoffs. Again, so fortunate to have a great partner this year in Garmin Verb. An amazing HD camera, but one that does so much more than just that. Data acquisition, interfaces with all the other Garmin products, so you can GPS, you can do. It's amazing what this Garmin Verb can do, and been very fortunate to be able to have it on a number of the cars and getting some great onboard looks as well. And it looks like, speaking of looks, we might be able to get back to green. I don't know if they're going to be able to go this time by, Jeff. I would be surprised, though, the way that they're working on it.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to. They do want to at least alert the drivers and give them enough notice to get those tires clean and get those tires scrubbed.
Well, they're going down this
back up to temperature.
This is the back stretch, so there's still plenty of time here. And obviously, you know, the word of the drivers, many of them have radios to the crews, and the crews will know, but when those lights go out on the pace car, and you're pretty much instructed, and we get the call, green this time, and you're instructed in the supplementary regs and the driver notes that are issued that it's your responsibility to be paying attention to lights on that pace car, because if they go out, you need to be ready to go. And we're going back to green this time as we'll be completing lap 4, so 10 laps of racing still able to be completed here.
Yeah, and if you're doing a minute 47 lap times, a little less than 15 minutes to get those 10 laps completed. So not a lot of time in a laps to get this done. It's going to be a barn burner here. I'm still interested to see how David Bleek's going to handle with that lower wing on his Swift chassis car. Will he be able to hold it in the downforce? Looks like he's got a smaller front wing as well. Doesn't quite extend out to the front wheels on that car.
I believe you call that trimmed out.
Very trimmed out.
Yeah.
Nice slick arrow. Get that wing out of the air. Really be nice to watch the trap speeds to see how quick he is on the straightaway.
Yeah, absolutely. But then again, he's gonna struggle in that infield. So it's going to be, as always here at Daytona, the compromise is going to be huge. Boy, they are right up on the rear deck of that pace car here. Tyler Hunter glued to the back here, and which generally means we get a pretty quick green once that pace car moves in. Ooh, and a little bit of an early move there by Malin, and he had to lift, and that has allowed Dudley Fleck to get the run down underneath as we go back to green. And it's going to be interesting here, but remember, there's that double yellow line, and the stewards have been extremely loud, if you will, in saying that is a track limit, and you drop tires below that double yellow line, we're going to look at it here. So we'll see what unfolds there. But everything happening behind Tyler Hunter, who timed that start beautifully, and it was just too late a green for David Blake to be able to do much with that trimmed out arrow. So we have to see what happens when he gets up in the banking when they come out of turn 6.
Yeah, I think Malin pulled away, pulled out of line there a little bit, trying to anticipate that green, decided to pull back in, and just when he did that and lifted a little bit, the green flag came out, so did not time that green flag at all.
Yeah, it's a tough deal when that happens here in that Swan Motorsports Mazda. Now watch as he went. Now there you can see those 2 left side tires of Fleck there, but I think Malin realized he jumped early, lifted, and started to come back down, and I think Fleck's argument might be, I was just trying to make sure we didn't go wheel to wheel.
Yeah, it looked sort of like that too as Malin started to go back down. Fleck started making an evasive move down to the inside to get through that line, and the stewards will look at that replay, they'll look at the videos, and they'll make a determination. They said they are going to pull common sense into it, but Malin right up in the back of Fleck trying to see if he can make a move down here into the bus stop.
Yeah, Fleck had to defend a little bit, and oddly, Blake has to give up a spot to a flying Brian Novak. You would have thought he'd have had a big margin built with that car trimmed out, but Novak able to get a tremendous run. Now, in the battle for second, Malin moving up, and here we go. Now watch Blake here. That's that blue and yellow car. and he's got nothing in terms of drag on that car, essentially. It's all the downforce really through the tunnel here. He's able to pull out and go back around Novak. But, Jeff, it's going to be interesting to see as they come up through the tri-oval. I have a gut feeling that Novak might be able to just out-deep him down into turn 1.
Sure be able to do that. He's going to have more downforce in the front of his car as he comes down into the braking zone. Getting word that J.R. Smart had a spin down there in turn number 9. He continued, but you can see how deep that Bleak has to go into the corner just to try to get some grip on that car.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mallinen continues his attack on Dudley Fleck here as they work their way out of, is that our leader?
Oh, it's our leader. Tyler Hunter off into the dirt on the exit, and then he spins it there as he comes back onto the track, still trying to find grip to get back underway. He's going to slide into third, but it looks like Bleak's going to get by him as well.
Wow. And it had to have been all by himself, just maybe a little bit too hot here. And now Blake, you know that if he can't get around Blake here on that infield section, it's going to be a struggle to get by Blake up on that banking. Meanwhile, that puts Dudley Fleck now into the lead. What a story here over Michael Mallinen up onto the banking. Mallinen, good run though, up onto that banking, Jeff.
Yeah, Dudley Fleck knows how to win. He was your June Sprints winner here this year in 2015, which is sort of the prelude that we call to who's going to be strong at the runoffs. Mallinen trying to get a little bit of a draft and a toe down the backstretch here into the bus stop. He's right there. This now becomes the battle for the lead.
Yeah, Fleck, he knew what was coming. You could see the defensive move, and it looks like our pole sitter has gone around Blake there, so he has regained third, but it's very close. Tyler Hunter, David Bleck, and right with him as well, Brian Novak, and that Honda powered Atlantic car is coming good here in this race, certainly. As we watch this battle here, and again, Dudley Fleck able to ease away. There now is Tyler Hunter, and he in that Swift 014A Toyota has gone around, and I think it looks like Novak may have gone around Blake as well. So we'll see what Novak's able to do at this stage, but Tyler Hunter, we know he has pace, pole sitter.
He sure does. His last trap speed was 162 miles an hour. He has the top end on that Bleak. We talk about that car being trimmed out only to 158 down the straightaway. I don't think he can get the run through the bus stop without that downforce that you need through there to go fast enough to get that higher top speed.
Mallinen through and into the lead now on Dudley Fleck as they work up into the kink at this stage. And Mallinen, he knows how to lead from the front. No question about it. That car prepped by Merle Swan and Swan Motorsports, who is one of the best in the business. And prepping is Atlantic cars a bit of his specialty, does other formula prep as well, but really strong in this category. And when Merle decides to crawl behind the wheel, he's no slouch there either.
Oh, not at all either. He can get that done. As Mallinen, your leader now in Formula Atlantic, the trick was going to be here what the lap times will be next time by. Tyler Hunter, when they crossed that stripe, was 5.8 seconds behind our leader. Had a terrible lap time, of course, with running that car off out of the exit of the International Horseshoe. Where is he? Don't see him in the frame yet. We'll see if he is coming.
Boy, and Dudley Fleck, he caught the toe, but just not soon enough to be able to do anything down into the bus stop. Here comes Tyler Hunter, and boy, once he cleared Blake and Novak, he has just dropped the hammer here, Jeff.
He's running, he's got halfway right now. They'll be working lap number 8 next time by. He's going to have to really get behind that wheel, put his head down, hit all of his marks, hit his braking areas. Hopefully, Mallinen and Fleck can go ahead and try to catch up and make this happen.
And look at this here now as Fleck again just not able to do much with it. However, he had the quick lap, except Tyler Hunter now just turns a 1:48.4, Jeff, and by over 2 seconds, fast lap of the race. He is flying, and just for a look here at the speeds, it was Dudley Fleck at 165.5 miles an hour, had the trap speed, but Hunter has the overall lap speed. By the way, getting a report from race control, they have asked the starters to take a look at that restart for both the jump and for Fleck dropping those wheels beneath the double white line. Be interesting to see what they decide on this one. But right now, Mallinen, he knows, he's being told on the radio, the speed that Tyler is showing.
He sure is. 2-second gap there with 8 laps to go. You think about, or 7 laps to go, you think about if that's the case, that's plenty of time to get it done from that little mistake that he had down there in the International Horseshoe.
And the interesting thing is, of course, is that once Tyler Hunter gets in and catches the draft at Dudley Fleck, he's going to be quicker still. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on here. Dudley running one of those Swift Mazda chassis cars. Tyler in the Toyota that is in chase mode. And again, that's a little bit more highly massaged race engine, obviously. And it's hot. We've talked about the heat, the humidity here. So they're going to be paying, I would think, pretty close attention to the gauges and the data.
Yeah, I just got word from Race Control as well that they decided to cancel the write-up. They got the version from what the starters said, and that's good to see because that's what we saw to it. Like Malinin made a move to the inside, trying to protect a little bit, and then Fleck dropped his wheels below that line, did make the pass, but he was forced down there. Great common sense, great call by the stewards.
Absolutely, and here we go. The margin last time by was 3.7 seconds. And as they come through this time, that margin is going to drop to 2 flat. Right now, 2 seconds flat. And again, he uncorks a 148.5. That is quicker by almost 2 seconds than the guys in front right now. So Tyler is indeed hunting right now.
Within a second of his qualifying time that he did.
That's impressive.
It's amazing when you make a mistake like that. You put your head down and really start charging back up through this field. A little bit of you know, red mist maybe, but you want to control that and work your way back up through the field.
Absolutely. Still David Blake sitting in that 4th spot, the number 70 Swift Toyota, and Brian Novak in the Swift Honda sits in the 5th spot. And even with J.R. Smart's spin in the 09 Swift 014A Toyota, he's been able to pick up a couple of spots and move back up into 6th. And he's a bit of a distance back, though, obviously, from Brian Novak in that 5th spot. But now we've got all 3 of our cars, Malinin, Fleck, and Hunter, in the same shot here on our coverage. That's how close this is. And Tyler Hunter, again, is just absolutely flying out there right now. Dudley Fleck has the fastest trap speed at 165.5, but Tyler Hunter has been oftentimes in the mid 164 range, but he's making up speed everywhere else too. He is coming at speed.
He sure is. He's in an older chassis by a couple generations with that Swift 014 chassis. The 16s in front of him make a lot bigger hole. However, the Toyota motors, some of those have been a little unreliable here at Atlantic, as there is Hunter making a move down to the inside on Fleck for 2nd place.
And he's cleanly alongside, so Fleck's not going to be able to drop down and protect going through the tri-oval. So Hunter now will show officially in that 2nd spot. Dudley Fleck thought for a moment to try and go down underneath him into turn 1, decided the better of it. But you could just take a look. Look at how high the side pods are in those 016A. They literally, with the cockpit opening and the cockpit surround, they're flush across it. That 014A, it drops down. It's a much lower profile side pod, which means not maybe as much effective tunnel. However, it is slipperier in terms of the hole it punches through the air. And it's pretty obvious there. Both Swift chassis, just different years.
You see how lower and how much more his head sticks up as well compared to the other chassis as well. Still has the side impact protections on that to keep these drivers safe. But with that lower slipstream side pods, like you mentioned, Greg, got to slide through there a little bit quicker. And the hole that the car makes in front of it, too, opens up that draft, and you're able to pull in right behind the leader there. And it's going to be a battle for the lead here in just about another half a lap.
Yeah, it should be. And obviously, in terms of tunnel technology, that 016 is more effective. But that 014, I think, clearly is a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to have a look at here. And in the hands of a very talented young man like Tyler Hunter, it is fast. It might happen here in the bus stop. Malinen's not just going to make it easy, though, and he shuts the door. Hunter has to check up, and that keeps Dudley in with a shot here as they come out of the bus stop. Now, it'll happen again, and this time Tyler's got a lot more room coming from a bit closer with that run out of the bus stop. And Tyler, well, here he comes. Is he going to be able to just make the move easily? He's going to have to go up and around the outside of Malin. And now, the last second, he cuts low. And Malin thought for a moment to try and defend. And he made the right choice, because if he'd have kept coming down and defended, that would have been wheel to wheel at a bad spot at near terminal velocity up on the banking. And as a matter of fact, Fleck almost flicks it down, and now does. Oof, there's a touch.
No, I don't think they touched. I think that Fleck was down there to the inside. Malin saw him there and reacted, got a little bit loose, and you saw Fleck get out of the gas, knew that they were going to make contact.
All right, so Fleck flicked and Malin flinched. Got it. Ooh, some fluid coming out of the back of Mallinen's car, fluid or smoke of some sort.
Yeah, it sure is. A little bit of overflow coming out of the back of that car, I hope. So we'll see how hot that car got. He was trapped in between those two cars and tucked right in behind Hunter coming down that straightaway. Didn't get the airflow into those side pods on the radiator. We'll see what temperatures and will the reliability from your multinational championship here running in second.
Yeah, Mallinen running that Mazda power plant in the car. Again, your leader running a Toyota. Dudley Fleck also running a Mazda here. But right now, Tyler Hunter has done exactly what he needed to do after that off. Now what he needs to do is make sure he doesn't have another unforced error, if you will.
Yeah, he did it all by himself last time. Now he's up in front. He's significantly faster than both the guys behind him. Just needs to put his head down, hit his marks. As Fleck looks to the inside over Mallinen, and Mallinen really just gave up that position. There's got to be something wrong with Mallinen. That car looks wounded.
Well, I think he's seeing something or feeling it, obviously. That might be something that's telltale in relation to that bit of smoke that we're seeing out of the back of the car. And Fleck clearly right now, not just in terms of corner speed, but just in terms of straight line speed, has the margin. So Mallinen does indeed look wounded.
Yeah, there he is down onto pit lane coming in, calling it a day. Unfortunately for Mallinen, down on pit lane. Looks like that problem that he's had with that car is terminal there. You see the heavy smoke coming out of the back of that car now.
Yeah, great decision, obviously. Have a problem to bring it in, stop. The crew will have a look at it. You see a couple of the other cars queuing up down there. Those are hardship laps that will be released at the end of this Formula Atlantic category races. We have completed now 10 laps and working lap 11, and that is the battle for the podium. And by a nose, David Blake has it in that Swift 014A Toyota over Brian Novak. And what a story it would be, but there you see it. He doesn't have the stick in the corners. He's got the straight line speed, but not enough stick in the corners, and almost runs off here. Now he's going to try and stuff it down the inside. Novak gives him room. Nice job by Novak. This is going to be an interesting battle here because we're seeing the compromise, and now just the grip of Novak pays off, Jeff. But what a story for Novak with the debut of that Honda to see it maybe podium its first time out at the runoffs. Boy, that'll be a nice incentive for the folks at Honda.
It sure would be. And Brian Novak, we know he knows how to get it done in all these open wheel cars, running in that F500 category, stepping up here into Formula Atlantic. Good pick, I think, from Honda to have Brian Novak drive this car. Comes up on the oval here. We'll see Bleak. The trick is going to be here, like we saw play out in our F500 race. Can Bleak get around Novak with that drag from that low aero package before he crosses the line? After he did it last time by, he's behind here. Can he do it this time by as well?
You can see he just comes up so quickly here and is able to blow by. But then it comes down to what helps you in the brake zone. What helps you in the brake zone is downforce, and that's what Novak has. But that time Blake had just enough of a lead heading in that Novak couldn't just out-deep him going in at this point. Now we'll see if Novak can do anything in terms of a draft. He's certainly got to run out of the bus stop. I'm not sure that was draft that ran him up in the back. I think that was exit speed out of that bus stop, Jeff.
Yeah, that downforce that car creates down on that nose, he's able to just plant the car in that left-hander, in that right-hander. That happens quick here. We're just getting word from race control. Going to be white flag for your leader next time by. It's going to be 2 to go for these guys here as your leader, Tyler Hunter, has already crossed the stripe here. It'll be 1 to go and next time by, but battle on for your final podium spot in Formula Atlantic here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And now watch here again. Blake cannot get that thing woed down and turned. And as a result, Novak able to cut down underneath and just drives on by. And I think Blake has got to make the adjustment here. He's got to understand, I've got to brake a little bit sooner here because I can't leave that door open mid-corner like that.
Yeah, if you make a mistake or if Novak's able to block or defend, you're not going to be able to get around him on that oval. So you're playing that delicate balance game. And I don't see Bleak living it up. We saw Cal Stewart in our F500 race give up turn number 1, knowing that he had the speed on the oval to get back around the car in front. That's what Bleak needs to do. Take a page from that rule book or that book that you saw in that race yesterday and start playing the strategy game for that final podium space.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sure going to be a fun run to the checkers here for these guys. But Novak, wow, did he get through the infield exceptionally well, and a great drive up onto the banking. So this is about as far back as we've seen Blake at this point. And let's see what he's able to do as he runs up here behind Novak as they head down into the bus stop. And he's closing, Jeff, but I don't know that that's going to be enough.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do a late braking move down here. He's going to have about a 7 to 8 mile an hour quicker speed, as there it is. White flag for Tyler Hunter, your leader. Dudley Fleck second place, and Novak able to stay in front of Blake to the bus stop. Now you'll see that drive that Novak had a little twitch there, and a cone
just
got hit,
broke his wing.
and Blake just broke his front wing there. It's dragging up on that front tire there. So Brian Novak solidly into third place now.
Yep, and again, running, that's what happens when you run a low downforce package like that, obviously, Jeff, is you run the risk of running off track and then further damaging things. But that wing has now come off, and that may make him real quick in a straight line, or has it come off?
It's still strapped on there, but it's not obviously effective on the arrow. As you see, Novak just let him go by. He's going to have no front grip there, and you see that the car just get loose as he comes down through, but still able to stay alongside Novak down here through the S's, and Novak gets back around him again.
Boy, that's got to be doing weird things aerodynamically to the front of that car right now. It's just a skew like that, so he's going to be really good in the left-handers.
It really is. You see that curve there on the oval. If he wasn't great before, he's going to be perfect now. Come down through the kink. Novak able to pull that gap a little bit, and we saw that Novak was able to stay in front of him until past the line that previous lap. So all he needs to do is just hold it together here, try to get that podium in his debut in Formula Atlantic.
Well, this is going to be interesting here. Again, up front, it continues to be Tyler Hunter, although Dudley Fleck doing a nice job keeping him in relative close sight here. Last time by, the official margin was only about 2.8 seconds. So that's the margin that they have there as we watch this battle. But this time around is going to be the checkered flag for our leaders, Tyler Hunter. Here he is, last time through the tri-oval, and an impressive drive by Tyler Hunter after starting from the tire rack pole, making a mistake, dropping back out of the top three, fighting his way through. And here we go. Last time, he just couldn't get it stopped. That's it. That's game over. There's no way he makes up this level of ground. So Brian Novak in the Honda-powered Atlantic car is going to podium, we think, the way things have been
Not
going
over
here.
yet.
Yeah, but what a great story that will be if he's able to bring it home. Just has to get through Speedway 4, and now the run up and through the tri-oval.
See him down here, what a debut, and I think Blake knew that he had to try to get all the speed he could in the bus stop if he was going to have a chance to try to draft past Brian Novak. Did not get it done, but Brian Novak, third place in the debut for that Honda K20 engine in the Atlantic Series.
And obviously for David Blake, I mean, just a great alternative plan, wasn't it? To just, all right, we're going to trim out here and see what we can do. Why not? It's the runoffs. If you were kind of confident you may not have straight up speed against these guys with a full downforce car, well, then let's change it up and see what happens here. And who knows, if he hadn't picked up that cone, it may have worked for a podium, as it was still a good fourth place finish. But Tyler Hunter, Dudley Fleck, and Brian Novak on the podium, and for the Honda powered Atlantic car in its debut at the runoffs, to bring it home on a podium, I think that is something that that manufacturer, again, knowing that this car, not that highly massaged race engine, that it is being designed from the get-go as a package to give a lot longer life between rebuilds, make the class a little bit more effective in terms of money to be able to run here. And again, again, we've got a deep field of talent here, but with only 10 cars taking the call to the green, an indication that that might be something that would be very well received by the Atlanta community to try and build these fields up for these very exciting cars.
It really is, and of course with Tyler Hunter in that Toyota engine able to hold that car together, a lot of guys that I talked to on the Atlantic's coming into the runoffs were really nervous about bringing cars here to Daytona, first for the speed and second for just the reliability, worried about tearing up motors and tearing up stuff. I think we'll see a bigger field at our national championships at Mid-Ohio next year.
I think so. And for Tyler Hunter, his previous best finish in the runoffs, 8th in 2013 at Road America in this category, 8th, and then to a gold medal a couple of years later. That's a remarkable performance. As we see our hardship lap cars at the bottom of the screen heading out, our podium finishers in Formula Atlantic making their way down into pit lane, and that means they're making their way toward Hayward Wagner. And again, just a great drive by Tyler Hunter. Dudley Fleck, by the way, the official margin of victory, 4 seconds. And he that last lap was a 150.1 by Tyler, a 151.3 by Dudley, so that's where that opened up just a little bit here. But what a great story as the helmet comes off. As always, when you're running Hoosier, the Hoosier necklace gets draped around the neck here, and then he's going to get a necklace that's even more valuable to him in just a moment. And let's check in now with Hayward.
Tyler Hunter, you have been no better than 8th at the Runoffs until now. You're a national champion. Tell us about the race.
Life is good. You know, had an awesome car. Everything was perfect going into it. I'm lucky to have the team that I had because setup was everything today. We had a good car not only down the straightaway but in the turns as well. Things were just perfect. I got to thank my guys, Joe here. Life is good right now.
About lap 3 after we came back from caution, lap 1 or 2, that first couple laps after caution, you had an off in the horseshoe. Yeah. What happened there?
Well, you know, everything was going well and all week, and I think everybody's dealing with the same problem. We all have understeer here because the cars are trimmed out for speed. And for once, I had a bit of an oversteer. I ended up over the curb, caught air, 45-degree angle, and ended up in the grass. Held onto it and came back.
Now, there was a moment where you were in the grass, you were trying to get back on the track, the tires looked like they were wet, you hooked back in and let the guys behind you get past. How long did it take you to get your head around that, know your car was okay, and be ready to go attack to the front?
Oh, I never slowed down. I was full throttle through the grass, sideways, this way and that. It was pretty impressive.
Well, huge congratulations to you. You get to jump back in the seat for one more lap, this time a victory lap at the SCCA Runoffs. I am looking for Dudley Fleck. Dudley, congratulations on a second place finish here at the Runoffs. You guys had a great run at the front of the field while this guy was doing some farming. What did it look like from your seat?
Well, exactly what you said. This is the race fell into our hands. We knew we might not have the fastest car, but some things would have to happen for us to win the race, and thought they were going to happen, but man, he was just too fast for us today and came back and he kept it heading straight through the grass, and I thought, darn it, he's back on the track, you know, so second we'll take.
Talk a little bit about the difference between these cars. The commentators were talking about the height of the sipods in the two different generations. Did you feel like you guys had a little bit of disadvantage aerodynamically?
Oh, definitely. The Swift 14 is a great car, and the Swift 16 is a great car, but it was designed to be a spec car, not faster than any other car. So they throw off a lot less draft and have a lot less frontal area. So it's a little tougher to stay with those guys on a big track like Daytona.
Well, congratulations to you on a second place podium finish. We're going to step now to what is probably the happiest guy here, Brian Novak. Brian, the last time that I was at a racetrack with Jeff Barrow, one of these cars sat in a garage the entire day, couldn't get anything going. You have now taken from that all the way to a podium finish at the Runoffs for Honda. How does it feel to be here with this kind of success for the car in the first year?
Oh, we're so pumped up. We struggled all year, struggled mightily earlier in the week. We had a little custom problems. We fought through them. I lost all my test time, though, when we did it. You know, I'm just so proud to be here for Honda and Hoosier and Nova Race and to put this car up on the podium. We didn't expect it, but I did everything I could and fought as hard as I could to try to put this car here. And you know, Honda's been so supportive of us, even though we've struggled all season long, and I'm really glad I can put something back for them here.
Those last couple of laps, you were battling with the blue car that was super trimmed out. Very different philosophies coming into this. Looked like he got into a cone in the bus stop towards the end, might have affected his aero. What was that battle like with him?
Oh, that was an awesome battle. I mean, good, clean battle. I know David really well since, I mean, you know, he's been such a gracious competitor all season and helping us out with tips and just doing what he can for us. You know, we raced him a couple times and, you know, just an awesome battle with him, just, you know, going back and forth. It looked like he was a little pushier in the infield than I was because he was so trimmed out. And we carried a little extra wing because we knew we couldn't carry it on the top right now. So, you know, it was one heck of a battle. I had to try to figure out how to get by because I knew I couldn't tow him by at start-finish. It was just going to be too hard to do. So that was a tough one.
Well, big congratulations to you and all the folks at Honda helping to develop this car. Congratulations also from the call booth, Jeff Leppard, giving you a big thumbs up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was a great performance, no question about it. And, you know, you just look at what they've been able to achieve in a relatively short time. And once they get more development time, more test time, that car is going to be special. And it was interesting listening to what Dudley Fleck said about the difference between the 014A and the 016A. That 016A, the Runoffs next year going to Mid-Ohio. That is a downforce, get that thing. Lots of downforce, and that 016A is going to be pretty good there.
Yeah, if Tyler Hunter wants to double up here on the championships, he might want to consider getting a 16 chassis because he's going to need it when you come to Mid-Ohio. But what a great run from all of our podium finishers in our Formula Atlantic class. And congratulations once again, Tyler Hunter, your Formula Atlantic champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look now at the results. Again, they're all provisional until everybody gets through tech. But Hunter, Fleck, and Novak, your podium. David Blick, what an effort he put in. J.R. Smart, that's spinning all up into the top 5. Then Mark Felsen, Mike Mallinen, again, didn't get to finish. Ended up 4 laps shy here. And Dwight Ryder, Bruce Hamilton, the two involved in that incident right at the start of the race. And then Ed Lever having a problem right off the go and didn't even get a lap in the books here. But nonetheless, at the front end of things, we saw some tremendous racing. And I think some great driving and a great story with that Honda as well. And it all started with an interesting start, and this was that incident that gave us our lone caution.
Yeah, the safety crew's doing a good job getting those cars, not want to do any more damage to them. And there's Tyler Hunter sliding back through the exit of the horseshoe there. And big moment there, very scary with Mallinen and Hunter making that pass for the lead and the ultimate win.
Yeah, if they'd have touched, it could have been big, but again, some savvy driving by both, recognizing the scenario, and there he came, Tyler Hunter. Again, 8th, his previous best finish 2 years ago at Road America, and then you come to another legendary venue, Daytona, and he brings home a gold medal in Formula Atlantic. So that's going to wrap up our coverage of our Formula Atlantic National Championship. Thanks for joining us. For Hayward Wagner and Jeff Lepper, I'm Greg Creamer. It's been an honor to call such a great racing series with so much history, Formula Atlantic, here at the 2015 running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb. Take care, everybody. The 2015 SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Garmin Verb, is being brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, driving matters.
16 wide eyes. Driver's license, took 2 tries, bought a Roadster secondhand. Playing parties with the band, loaded up, off to state. Hijinks, tailgates, starter, midsize, family cruising. Now in the garage, something new reminds you of when you were you.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.